sorry for the late start, but we are here. Welcome.
Who's sorry?
We are all a collective, Erica.
Nah, bruh.
We here at Daytime Talk After Dark
we were here.
had a haircut that wasn't done.
You couldn't do your haircut at 2:00 in the afternoon?
It took a little longer than I thought, buddy.
Well, what happened? Where's the haircut?
I faded it up. I think it looks good. Who am I? I am Al Jackson.
Oh,
I thought they were mocking you.
I was like, somebody's really good at doing Al.
That would have been hilarious.
What's happening?
I like it. I like it.
That's right, Damiana. I did say, Al, speak for yourself.
Well, let me tell everybody who is not speaking for Al. That would be one, Mrs. Sam Shocker, enjoying a nice little liquid death. What flavor?
This is slaughterberry, which is iced tea, agave, and vitamins.
I've never heard anybody say slaughter that beautifully.
Slaughterberry.
Slaughter. Erica, even though they're not a sponsor, we have Erica Cobb here. You're also sipping on a slaughterberry.
I am.
All right. And my boy Jeff Short over there in the corner. Man, in all black.
Yeah.
How you feeling, man?
I feel good. 3 orange whips. I got Slaughterberry too.
Yeah.
Wait, is that like a funny name or is that actually a thing?
I think because they're liquid deaths, so they're trying to go into like kill your thirst. Everything's kind of a violent
Yeah.
way
That's
to
what I'm
say
saying.
something
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's their branding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know. I'm just asking.
All right. Watch this
I'm
transition.
very curious.
Jeff,
Wait,
you ready
no,
for
wait.
this
We have to
transition?
address that because some people are asking where's Tori. Tori is in. Maybe I shouldn't say where she is. Has she
You can
told
say,
anybody?
yeah, she's not the
She's out of
vice
town.
president.
She Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
People are going to comb the cape looking for Tori.
Tori's in the
TM
Cape.
Tell TMZ.
Tori's
in TMZ.
Tori's in the Cape. It is post birthday, so happy belated birthday to Miss Tori Schulman.
Yes. Happy
Okay.
birthday. Enjoy that frozen island. That's all
It's
she's
still
doing.
fun. It's still a good time.
It's freezing
It's a
out there.
vacation. What do you mean? It's going to be Arctic cold here on Friday.
I know. Oh, is it?
Below zero
Like, For the
temperatures.
whole weekend. I think until Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's gonna
really?
be-
When I come back from South Carolina, where I'll be while you guys are dealing with the cold?
Oh,
Let me
nice.
know how that goes. All right. Well, we've been having fun, but let's talk about something that has probably personally affected all of us, or at least tangentially. Night Owls, I know you guys know somebody. The wildfires in LA, in California, I've never seen anything like it in my lifetime. It has, I think, shocked all of us and really given us a lot more awareness of fires, because there was always this thing of like, the fire's coming, just move. That was like one of the things that really infuriated me. I think now everybody realizes how dangerous they are and how unpredictable and really how almost impossible they are to contain.
And how fast they can move with high winds.
Sam, you're a lifelong Californian. Have you dealt with this? I know
love
there
how
was
he
a
sets it
fire. Was that?
I love how you set up with context. You're really good at what you do.
Oh, well, thank you. A real-time compliment. I actually weirdly watched the fire documentary. There's one in Paradise, California. I don't know if you remember.
Northern California.
Northern California. It was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but it's not a thing anymore. It was wiped off the map.
Oh, wow.
It is. You have to watch it. It's called Fire in Paradise. It's on Netflix, I believe. But that really kind of set the table for me in terms of understanding this. So, Sam, have you ever dealt with this? Has this impacted your family? And talk to us a little bit about what you and your fam have been thinking just watching these areas that you've grown up loving.
I've never personally dealt with a fire. The only thing that I can think of natural disaster-wise was the 1989 earthquake. I was in 4th grade. That was a 7.1. Very scary. Moving on to the California wildfires, Jeff and I were talking about this earlier. Erica too. We all know people. Every single one of my friends had to evacuate. Some were able to go home today, but then they're still on pins and needles because the winds are supposed to pick back up tonight. My in-laws live there. They are safe. My sister-in-law is still evacuated. Hopefully everything's okay there.
May I ask, where did she go?
Different friends' houses. That's the good thing about this is you see so much community right now in Los Angeles. And so, different friends' houses. Her mom's house, they might go to Palm Springs just because the air quality is so bad. But I know that a lot of people don't want to leave because they want to see what happens. They want to help. They want to be able to get back to their homes. A lot of people aren't able to go into those areas because of the looting and things like that. I don't know how many people have been arrested, but there's been more than a dozen people that have been arrested from, only FEMA's allowed in certain areas right now. And, I have 4 people that have lost their homes. 4 different people have lost their homes. And, again, there's this it shouldn't matter if somebody has a a mansion or not, but there's this narrative that it's like, oh, they're rich, they're fine. No, the majority of these people are working actors, working producers, they're baristas. And again, it should not matter because losing your home is losing your memories, your safe space. It's traumatic. But I just want people out there to understand that Los Angeles isn't this big beacon of like rich people. It's not like that. Altadena is predominantly people of color.
Right.
So it's just devastating. Just really quickly, I'll sum it up. Jeff and I saw a video of Pacific Palisades, like the downtown area that we've all frequented many times. And you see in the video, you see one side right during Christmas time, right before New Year's, and it's hustling and bustling and gorgeous. And then on the other side, it's ash, like the Paradise Fire.
Right.
Palisades is gone.
It's gone.
Pacific Palisades is gone. So my heart goes out to everybody out there. And if you can, the Red Cross is doing a lot. You can go to redcross.org and they have boots on the ground. They're organizing shelters. There's so many great organizations out there. But
So, Eric, I want to ask you two things. What do you think we've done well as a people, as a community with these fires, and what do you think could have been done better?
Well, I'm going to be very honest. When the fires broke out, I was in Mexico and I was at a wellness retreat. So I was trying my hardest to not be engaged in general. So when I found out what was happening, it was kind of a delayed thing. I just immediately reached out to people I knew in California to see if they were okay, if there was anything I could do. And I mean, luckily for the people in my life, they're okay, but everyone's like, I'm okay right now.
Right.
Just that sitting and waiting thing. I was trying to just keep up with what was going on because, again, I was like in an even more kind of isolated situation, which was by design. But what I found was, people really have to understand that social media in general is such a small microcosm of the greater world. And a lot of people are just, they're not right in the head. Like, I don't know how else to say that because I think it's one thing to say someone has mental health issues. I think it's something else for people to just be purely evil. And to want to profit or to want to revel in someone else's pain is just the most awful side of humanity. And I think that decent people shined a little bit too much light on that. And
Totally agree.
I think that, darkness is only eradicated by the light, but sometimes you have to ignore that it's dark. And so I think energy is a very finite thing that we have. And so I would just encourage people to look at positive things, go towards positive solutions. And I'm saying this from a standpoint of not those who were affected by the fires. Like, however people feel is how they feel. I'm not about to relegate anyone's feelings. But if you're someone who is either a observer or someone who can be a helper, then just focus on that.
Right.
I think that was something that, and we all fall victim to it. Someone says something extremely nasty or hateful, you want to defend the good. You want to stand up for people. And really, I think I'm just such an ignoring person.
Right.
Like my ability to not see someone is like very strong. Like my ability to ignore stupid stuff is very strong.
It's like that episode of Black Mirror where you could mute people in real life.
Yeah,
you guys
it's
remember that?
like,
Yes.
I mean,
It's a
you're
good
like
episode.
literally right here in my face and I do not see you. I can't see you. I can't hear you, It's true. Y'all
it's a
seen
good
it.
superpower.
Y'all have seen it happen in real time. But yeah, so I think that for, anyone who's in a position to help, just concentrate on that, and whatever evil people are going to do, they're going to do.
Jeff, let me ask you this. Are you surprised that we're this far down the road with social media, but yet you are still kind of taken back at how the evil still surprises you when there is a tragedy, like the things that people say, the things that people give as the reason that this is happening? because I was listening to what Erica was saying, and I try to ignore as well. But sometimes you'll read a headline, like literally I saw a headline that said, Democratic women are the cause for the fires. And I couldn't avoid seeing it. I didn't click on it. I'm not going to do that. But I was so disappointed. And I know a lot of people would click on that, and some people would resonate with that. So how do you feel about, do you think that's just these fires just kind of highlight everything, and maybe that's with highlighting, it's going to highlight the good and the bad about our society and us in general?
It's funny because I didn't know how you guys were going to take all that, but I'm on the exact same page as all of you. I was sad.
Yes.
Like I'm not just saying, hey man, I'm sad. I'm genuinely like sad inside, like with society and the way it's going. Usually tragedies like this bring communities together. You know, you just reflect back on 9/11, how everyone was just patriotic and American. Every race, color, creed, sexuality, we were all Americans at that time. And you'd think something like this would bring us together, but yet it has torn us even more apart. And that's what makes me sad.
Except the LA community. They're
right.
together.
But that's not being highlighted. But I know it because I have a lot of friends. Luckily, they're all safe. Just to touch on that, like I lived in the Santa Monica area. I have a lot of friends in Marina Del Rey, Santa Monica, Venice Beach. That's a little bit more south of where the fires are. Right there. And then I have another friend in Brentwood. He lived when I lived in Santa Monica. The O.J. Simpson house was between us. I don't mean to make, but that's where exactly where.
Yeah.
Right. So it didn't come up that far, but he was FaceTiming us, and you could see the fires in the Palisades. This was like the first day, and it was roaring over the houses, and I was like, "Wow, man, that's close, Scotty." I'm like, Are you getting out of it?" He's like, "Well, luckily we have friends there to get in and out." That's just like me talking to my friends out there, so I'm pretty close to it. Cam Matheson lost his house, who's a friend of DBL, and I got to be a friend of his. So sad.
Ricky Lake.
Yeah, just so the devastation's crazy. But getting back to like my sadness.
Jeff, I will say, let's not say just lost their house. They lost the stuff
Everything.
inside of it.
Yeah.
Like baby pictures and blankets and high school jackets and things that just literally can't be replaced. So please.
Yeah,
continue.
and people think they're so offended by something on the street or they get cut off. And it's like, you have no idea what sadness really is or like devastation really is till something like this happens. And like I said, you'd think that it brings the community together, and which I think it is. I think people who live in California are really trying to help around the Palisades area. I think they are, but on social media, they take advantage people take advantage. And I'm kind of at the point now where I really am, where I'm done explaining myself. You know, it's not like when I say like, I think we've talked about this all the time on the show, and it's like the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And maybe my sadness comes from I don't care anymore. It's like, it's not that I love or hate or whatever. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
When I say things like were handled poorly by whoever was in charge of that area, it was handled poorly. It doesn't mean I'm taking a shot at Democrats. Doesn't mean I'm taking a shot at the sexuality of the firefighters. It's okay to say it was handled poorly. There was no water in those reservoirs. And now on top of all that, the looting, the price gouging that's going on. I watched Jason, that guy on Selling Sunset. Oppenheimer.
Yes.
So people, like, usually some of those houses, I mean, we're talking about when you said the Palisades, there's really rich houses of the Palisades, and there's just regular people living in the Palisades.
And apartments.
Right. So it's a wide range, but it is, I would say, upper class. But one of the houses that he was renting to his very wealthy clients, this house goes for $13,000 a month. That's a lot of money, right? He was going to move him into another apartment. This was the house he was trying to move his client into. His client goes, "I'll pay $20,000 and I'll sign a contract for 6 months." The person renting the house goes, "I want $26,000.
Wow, that's illegal.
From $13,000 a month, he was getting to $26,000 because this person was displaced. That's just one little example of price gouging. And then just the looting and then other people going around. It's there's so many videos now of like just citizens taking it in their own hands to stop like these people who aren't well, they're mentally ill, running around starting more fires while the fires are going on. And it's like, I lost a little something inside because I loved California, and it's not the place that it was or is or what I dreamt it was going to be for me. And just the humanity, it's lost. And all people want to do is fight. And, you know, you say something or you're trying to be constructive criticism on something and you just get pushed back. And it's like, I'm not even making excuses anymore. I'm over it. And it's sad.
I see that, but my algorithm might be different. And then we got to check in with Al because Al lives half the time in LA. That is your home.
Right.
But what I've seen a lot of, and I agree with you because I've seen that, and it reminded me of the Keanu Reeves quote that might not even be his quote, knowing how things just, there's so much disinformation out there, but where he says, if someone tells me 2 + 2 is 5, I just say yes and walk away because he likes to save his own sanity. But what I've seen is just, I've seen so much community in LA, people doing everything they can to help out their neighbors, strangers, donating things, Mexico coming over, Canada coming over, you know, the nearby states like Arizona, Utah, Colorado. We've got so many different fire stations there and a big plane. So I'm seeing community. Is there a lot of people capitalizing on divisiveness? Is there criminals out there that are price gouging? That is a crime. So if that's happening to you, if you're in California, you can report it, and that's a crime. You can't do that. But I have a little bit of like, I'm so proud of my city. I really am. I'm proud of Los Angeles right now because I see so much community. And I think a lot of people looked at Hollywood as people that were selfish. And that's wrong. Of course, there's going to be selfish people everywhere. But
I've never understood why.
Because it's Hollywood, you know, but I've seen people. But let's hear from you. Your family's there. You spend half of your time there, half of your time here. How is everybody? Is everything okay?
Everything is okay. I mean, it was touch and go for a little while. We decided, and I'm sure every family there did as well, to have a go point, meaning like what would have to happen in terms of like you grab your bag and go. And it was for my ex-wife. It was Venice. Yeah.
Oh, in Venice?
It was like if it made it to Venice.
Yeah.
Which was close. Let's give a geography lesson to some of the people watching. I mean, Malibu, Pacific Palisades, Santa Monica, Venice. It's like all within like a handful of miles of each other.
It's really, really close. I mean,
Moon Shadows burned down.
No.
The place where we had our wedding dinner, Mastro's on the beach burned down.
Mastro's did on the beach?
Yeah. And then so like to give you, so if you start up in Malibu, then you start going south down to PCH, then you hit the Palisades,
Right.
then comes Santa Monica.
Right.
Malibu,
Santa Monica and Venice.
right.
Yep.
So Moon Shadows was up towards Malibu. Then if you get down, there's another, what's that other one that's in Santa Monica? I used to go to right on the PCH. Not Moon Shadows. The other one with the Gladstones.
Gladstones is okay, right?
Gladstones is okay. So I'm
Okay.
just giving people like
Yeah.
a geography of
Right.
that's kind of like when you're getting into Santa Monica, and then you get into the Marina del Rey and Venice area. So
Yeah.
that I think that's fine.
But it's right
yeah.
in the thick of it.
It was right in the thick of it, and I mean it's just terrifying, and especially not being there. There's a different level of feeling helpless, which I'm sure the people that were there felt no different than I did. I think I looked at it more as like a parent, you know, just standing there and your kids. Imagine your boys being like, "What are we going to do, Dad?"
I
And you
can't.
don't know, and that's the scarier thing and the sadder thing. And
So what did you do? Like what if you're comfortable talking about it, like what went through your mind? Like how did you decide what your parameters would be for this is when we leave as opposed to when you get the emergency evacuation order?
Well, we kind of went through this a little bit at the beginning of COVID where kind of no one knew what was happening. And, my ex-wife lives in a house, but it's in a more condensed area in El Segundo. And so I was planning fully, and we were in the final stages of, I was going to drive to LA in the middle of the night and just go get them and bring them back because no one knew what was happening at that
Because it was
time.
spreading
And
so quickly.
We weren't getting any information from our government, so we were just going to, this is the time where there were lines out the door at the gun shop, and like people didn't know if we were on the precipice of anarchy.
Oh, right,
So,
right.
I've made that drive before. It is a B and a half, 17 hours one way. I've done it several times. I don't know how many more of those drives I have, but I got one more in me to go grab my ex-wife and her husband, who I have a lot of love and respect for, and his people. So we were going to figure it out. But, I think, just to kind of wrap this subject before we get into kind of a smaller subject, before completely transitioning, Jeff, I want you to always remember there's always going to be things that are negative with human behavior, and Sam saying she was proud of her community. I haven't been through a fire, but I've been through several hurricanes in Miami, and there were gas stations price gouging. There were people trying to take advantage, but when you have people that were raised in a system that is capitalism, the root word capitalize, some people did that. Some people tried to hoard masks. Some people tried to hoard hand sanitizer,
Toilet paper,
and toilet paper and sell it. You know, remember people were trying to go straight to Home Depot and take the whole pallet?
Yep.
It's weirdly a basic human instinct, and there are some people that have bought in the idea of society, and we are all in this together, and there are other people that tend to lean into F you, fend for yourself.
But I think that's the minority.
Me too. But those are the people that are going to make news. Those are the people that are going to make a headline like Democratic women caused the fire. It's not going to say 3 neighbors all got together, a black woman, a white woman, and a white guy, and they got this family's dog that was in the attic. I mean, I would click on that article. You would click on that article.
Speaking of that, what about all these amazing firefighters?
Yes.
And I know that I'll get to
inmate
the
firefighters as well.
Yes.
Yes. So speaking of good things, I did want to talk to you guys briefly about the inmate firefighters. Kim Kardashian highlighted them.
Chris Brown highlighted
Chris
them.
Brown.
A lot of people have been
Hassan,
highlighting them.
the famous YouTuber, Twitcher, he spoke with a lot of them.
Yep.
What do you guys?
Hassan's my boy from TYT.
Is he?
Uh-huh.
He's
I know.
one of the probably top 10 most famous people in the world right now. That's crazy. Hassan Piker is who we're talking about. I thought that he did, and I didn't see what Chris posted, but I thought all the reviews that I've read about what people have said about them have done a good job of humanizing our inmates rather than just making them this nameless, faceless horde. So, Erica, I want to ask you, with some of this heroic behavior we've seen from inmates, do you think that there should be maybe not clemency, but some kind of path towards faster redemption if somebody is shown that they can stand up for a community that they are currently incarcerated in? Should there, not that there should be a pay for play, but should there be some type of reward for that?
I think that, well, here's the thing. If you are entrusted, I've been trying to find out, like, it's kind of difficult. Some people to know exactly who they are and like what they were incarcerated for.
It can't be a violent crime.
Right. So I would assume that if you were trusted to lead in the middle of chaos to fight a fire, and you are in a situation where you're able to do that, then maybe that means that you're either on the path of redemption or to have served your time, or you're very close to, you know, maybe getting out. I've just assumed that, and maybe I'm wrong, but I assumed that these were people who could have been in for things that weren't
It's very low level
necessarily,
crimes.
yeah,
She's right.
considered like, you know, the worst egregious thing.
Right.
You know, so I think, but being incarcerated is supposed to be about your redemption story. It's supposed to be the catalyst to serve your time and your debt to society. And I mean, this is like such a huge debt to pay to society. In some cases, it might be a bigger debt to pay than, well, yes, in the worst case, you know, you're putting your life on the line, but who's to say that the punishment, and I don't know if that's considered a punishment or an honor for people to be.
I think that's such a great point that you just said that, because that's what I've been grappling with. I did a deep dive on this because I was curious about those that are incarcerated and why we do this as a state. And I think for the ones that are doing it, you know, as an honor, I see that as that. But I do feel for those that feel like they do it to chip away at their time. And that's what I found out. So not only are they making like pennies on the dollar, but we as a state, I say we, no longer in California, but California as a state saves $110 million a year by not recruiting firefighters, but using and creating this low-level crime incarcerated fire department. And they, you know, entice a lot of these firefighters that are incarcerated with, and here's where my mind is this a dangling carrot? Like, hey, I want you, not to say that these incarcerated firefighters don't have pride in what they're doing, because they are heroes and I'm so grateful to them. But I also feel a little icky with the fact of someone coming to someone and saying, hey, we're saving all this money over here and we will chip away at your sentence if you become a firefighter. But here's the caveat. You're going to be paid very little money. And when you get out, you cannot become a firefighter. So if they change some things, like Kim Kardashian is saying, where now they can go join a fire department when they come out, and that's their new profession, and they're getting paid some sort of equitable wage for their sacrifice and their training, and they're prideful about it, then I'm all for it, because I don't really see it as consensual when you're dangling the carrot of this will take away. Of course it is, because they're an adult, but it just feels a little uneven with a power dynamic when you're saying, I'll take away this time and we can, what is it, expunge your record or whatever it may be.
I don't think that you were far off with consensual.
No.
I mean, if you were incarcerated, it's already known that you do not share the same rights as someone who isn't. So if it were a situation in terms of a power dynamic with an incarcerated person versus someone who isn't, then that wouldn't be considered consensual. So I'm not trying to make this a bigger issue. I'm just simply saying that I don't think that you were wrong.
Yeah.
I think this is a big issue. And Jeff, I immediately thought of Shawshank Redemption.
Oh gosh, every week we talk about Shawshank.
It really, sadly, weirdly still applies, because do you remember the chain gang? I don't know if they still call them that. They put them out and they dig ditches. They build, some kind of low-level bridges, and they do city contracted work. Yeah. And so what you have is a workforce that is not being paid, much like the Girl Scouts.
Right.
And because of that, you can negotiate. If I've got 10 inmates working for Al Jackson Construction and Jeff has 10 employees, I can be like, hey, what is Jeff charging you guys? We'll do it for half, because it's all profit to me. So I wonder, what kind of labor laws are we skirting around by using inmates? Do you see how
and the money we're saving?
The money we're saving,
you kidding
but
me?
not
they deserve more. They deserve more.
They're getting paid pennies. So I wonder if this is going to highlight other areas that we are probably not aware of in which inmate labor is being used.
Right.
It used to be the old thing, they're making license plates, but they pay somebody to make license plates. So now that's another job. So it seems like this may have weirdly opened up a can of worms in terms of what legalities lie there. Because if you go into a construction company, you would be in some trouble, or a private firefighter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it goes back to the mismanagement. Right. And it's not taking shots at anybody, but it was mismanaged. They cut that budget by $17 million. But on the same token, they had to be like, let's cut that money. If there's a fire, we'll just get some inmates and they could put it out. That's on their side. For the inmate side, it gives you a sense of self-worth, right?
For sure.
I want to get out. If I'm in jail, you have nothing going on. I'll get out I'll paint a house. I'll do anything. You don't even have to pay me. I just want to get out there. But if you're actually fighting a fire in the community and you've never had that self-worth, maybe you don't even have parents, or I don't know how you grew up, and then somehow you're part of something and you're like, you know what? Maybe I can do something when I get out of here. That felt really good. And I never talked to this guy in here before, but now he's my friend because we're out here fighting this fire. It's kind of like a team dynamic, whatever it is. That's why a lot of people get involved in gangs, because they don't feel any love and they get love from the gang. Maybe this will give them some type of love in the workforce, right?
And
but they're
agree with
taken
all that.
advantage of by the government.
That's exactly
So there's
right.
two sides to that
They
coin.
deserve
and
more.
To cut that budget and say we're just going to have inmates do it,
right.
There's a problem there.
Yeah,
That's
they
a
deserve
problem.
more. I agree with you tenfold. I believe that there's pride there. So many people are grateful for the first responders, the firefighters, the incarcerated firefighters, but for the incarcerated firefighters, they deserve more. So, and I think we're all in agreement.
At the very least, I mean, because obviously there are a lot of inmates all over the country who are working for pennies on the dollar. Granted, they're not putting their lives on the line. I would definitely, at the very least, want to see there being healthcare when they get out, because you don't know the ramifications of
the air quality.
You have no idea.
Are they 9/11 workers?
PTSD?
Do they get
PTSD?
Do they get the exact same equipment as firefighters who aren't incarcerated? Those are the questions that I have, because if you're going to do something like that and you're going to sacrifice for either a lighter sentence or because this is something that is in your spirit to do, I would like to see them taken care of,
Right.
if some long-term condition were to surface.
All right. Well, we're going to put a pin in it there, but we're going to stay on the subject of incarceration, or in this case, no incarceration, because Trump, he was convicted of 34 felony counts, has received no jail time or really no sanctions in his sentencing hearing from Judge Marchand, I believe it was. So, Jeff, why don't you lead us off? What do you think the positives and the negatives are from having a president elect that was convicted of crimes but will serve no punishment for said crimes?
Would he, I don't know a lot about like how all this works. I kind of wish Tori was here. But if he was convicted of something, right, probably wouldn't be sentenced.
He would deal with the consequences after his.
I was going to say, but
yes.
then can he pardon himself and be?
I don't think you
Couldn't
can
he just-
pardon
Federal?
yourself. These would be because these were the hush money.
And
This
then
is the
weren't,
hush
weren't,
money.
these, weren't these crimes, again, I'm kind of ignorant to this whole thing.
I think you speak for a lot of people, including yours truly.
weren't the statute of limitations up on his crimes anyway?
The statute of limitations, it depends on which crime that we're talking about. I believe this had to do with the hush
It
money
did.
case.
It had to do with Stormy Daniels
Right.
and the hush money case, and he
Because
was
there's a
found
New York
guilty.
case as well.
And take Trump out of it, take Biden out of it. I'm so sick of politics. If you're guilty, found guilty of a crime, no one should be above the law. So I take real issue with this. Whether again this was Biden, Obama, Bernie Sanders, who I love, or Trump. If you commit a crime and you're found guilty, you should have to pay the price. And because of a number of different things that have happened in the last 2 years of not being able to charge a sitting president, that's all gone down this pipeline, and he is going to get away with it. And I don't think that's fair. Again, it has nothing, I'm going to underscore this, has nothing to do with Trump. I don't like anybody being above the law.
But-
now, will he have a conviction? Yes. Is he now our first president with an actual criminal convicted history? He is. So that is a stain, I guess, on his legacy. You could look at it, but I still don't feel comfortable with anybody being quote unquote above the law.
But then you could say the same thing on the other side, like Biden pardoning
Sure,
people.
agree
right?
with
yeah,
you.
That's what I'm just balancing it out.
Yeah,
for you.
and
But-
thank you for balancing
Yeah.
out, because I didn't agree with Biden pardoning his son. Even though I
Right.
understand it as a parent, I would probably pardon my own
Oh,
children.
for sure I would,
But I don't
yeah.
like the precedence of it. So
Right, but I'm saying it goes for both sides, just to
for
get
both-
you out
thank
of
you
that.
that. For
hole.
both
Yeah.
sides, thank
but
you that.
here's my thing, Marchand, wasn't that the guy, the New York judge, right?
I believe so. There's a lot of judges.
But it wasn't that the guy like really trying to get Trump? Wasn't that the guy? Is that the same guy?
Yes.
Why
And
didn't
maybe somebody
he-
in our chat? There's also
Why
Well,
didn't
they-
Why didn't he bring it? He went this far with it. Why didn't he bring charges? Like, because he's the one who brought all these charges when they said they probably wouldn't even bring him to court. Then he was found guilty. Why wouldn't he sentence him?
He
I'm kind of
can't,
confused.
because of what happened with the Supreme Court.
Are we talking about the New York real estate crimes?
No, we're talking about the
Because
hush money.
The hush money.
but
like
the
those-
judge that wanted to bury him.
Are you conflating that with the New York?
Yes.
I feel like
I think you're thinking
conflating
of that
with
judge.
because they were saying there's a lot of charges.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
I'm
yeah.
very confused
Yeah.
with the whole
No,
thing.
So this judge is
Yes.
separate. However, even though this judge said, I will not sentence you, Trump still and his legal team still went to a higher court and asked for it to be dismissed, considering that he will be president. I mean, this was a week ago, so president in a week. And, they stuck with the original judge and the original findings that he is guilty of that crime. So not only do you have that judge, but you also have a higher court that also agreed. Now, again, he's not going to serve any jail time. It's just to show, it's like doing the bare minimum. The judge knows that he can't put him in jail.
well, I don't get it though.
Someone refresh my memory with the Supreme Court, where, remember, we reported on this on DBL.
Yes, the Supreme Court basically
cannot-
said that any act that you commit while you are a sitting president, you are basically immune
Yes,
from any
he
type
has immunity.
of prosecution, because that was really laid out under the premise that they don't want a president second guessing themselves because they might be doing something that would later lead to
a
them
war
getting-
crime or whatever it may
yes,
be.
so, like,
yes,
it
which
is-
other presidents have done.
Right, but this I feel like it was more related to a political matter but in this case, this had to do with a porn star hush money and real estate fraudulent situation. So he really did escape. And I wonder, Erica, we're all kind of throwing our hands up in the air like we can't believe this is happening. But is there a world in which we all don't realize that being rich and powerful almost to a person excludes you from any kind of real punishment?
I don't care.
Oh yeah.
I really don't. I think it's really important because I have lived through like and with and around. I've lived a very diverse life in terms of people and lifestyles and all of these things. I think that if people want to see, have a front row seat to privilege showing its ass, watch the show. I've already seen it. Like wrote a book about it. I can summarize it. Maybe make cliff notes about it.
Give those to
it's
me.
really not. Like it's not as impressive as people seem to think. And I mean, I know that people are very much swayed by power and money, and they think that certain people should be immune or exempt from certain things. Great. What I really care about is my family, my friends, making a better life for myself. And I'm not going to be distracted by clownery. It really serves no purpose in my life. So I got to be honest, I don't give a crap.
Okay, but I mean, I do care in that I'm worried that this will now provide a template and a gateway for more clownery and more corruption.
It's already there.
Yeah, it's always. I think it's
always been
what
there,
it
but
is.
at least
It's
I
just-
like that they try and keep it on the low.
No, it's never been on the low. There just hasn't been like whistleblowers with amplified voices and platforms. This is the way it's always been. That's why I'm really not rattled by it. Honestly, every day we would go into work and we would have these conversations. And a big part of it was, yeah, some of these things I was really invested in. Some of these things were just trending news. But at the end of the day, I think that what people really need to concentrate on is how are you going to better yourself, your family, your community? Because what we're seeing is like silo living. Although LA is, up in flames and people are coming together, it's become a silo because they're experiencing something that no one else is experiencing.
They're trauma bonded.
Right.
Yeah.
And
she's right.
from the outside, people can say or do or feel however they want, but they're in this together because no one else is going to understand that. And I think that that's kind of how we live in a different way, but anyway. And I think over the course of the next few years, what we're going to get, and be very, very careful. Like, I am very energy sensitive. So anytime someone does something to offend my sensibility about boundaries for myself, it's an automatic ixnay from my life. Like, I do not ask questions. So when things and thoughts are coming in, especially now, because I'm not required to think about them, it's very much repelled from me. So I'm not saying like I don't care because I don't care what happens to people. I'm saying I don't care because it does me no benefit to care.
And you don't see anything changing.
Well, what am I supposed to do about it? I did the only thing I could do about it.
Yes.
I voted a certain way.
Yes.
You want this? Have at it. Honest to God, like, do it.
This is the one thing that concerns me, and Jeff, I'm going to ask you this before we move on. As Trump moves into office, I was actually listening to a podcast where a lawyer that's been hired by a lot of the judges and people that worked on FBI cases that were dealing with Trump, this lawyer advised that they go out of the country for a little while. It's weird. I'm watching Succession, and he did the same thing. Go to a country with no extradition until this blows over. How this affects our lives, potentially, Erica, and what I'm concerned with is whistleblowers. They do affect our lives because there was a whistleblower at Boeing that was like, hey, our planes are made with gum and sticks.
And now where's
you know, and you're right,
6 feet under.
You're right, and now he's dead, and no one. That was he
What?
is. He's
Good one.
that guy just he
True.
did just weirdly
Sad. It's
die.
horrific.
He's swimming with the fishes.
It was a very
60s mob movie.
She looks like a mob wife right now, like a freezing cold
It's
mob
cold.
wife. Yes, all right, like watching them dig a ditch. Hurry up, Frank, I'm cold. Okay, so Jeff, what do you think this says about the rule of law if we do see Trump? We're not going to spend a ton of time. I just want to hear what you have to say. If we do see Trump go after the people that went after him.
I hope he doesn't. You know, I hope he doesn't. And that's all I'll say about it. I'm really feeling Erica today. Like that, just because I'm like that. I got this sadness inside me, and I don't know what it is, but you're just speaking of like silos, and it's like, I feel just maybe it's me, maybe it's not the world, but I feel like myself, I'm going into a silo. And I feel like everybody that I know is kind of going in their separate silos. And it's sad because it's like, the people in your silo are like, don't talk to that people in that silo. And if you're in your silo, like, don't go over there. He's in that silo, to use that analogy. And I just feel like that's the world now. You know, like I feel myself closing in a little bit, and I'm kind of just with my family. And when I try to reach out or do something like socially, you just get bombarded with hate and things that you did 15 years ago. And, you know, it's just, I'm just in a sad place,
do you
know?
get that?
And I really don't care about the politics. I'm not trying to put anybody down. You know, when you try to talk, and we have talk shows, or, you know, just being in the spotlight, you know, you get labeled certain things, but it's like, if you're not using something derogatory, you aren't that person. But now everybody's just labeling everybody as that person. And it's like, there's no more communication like we talk about.
Well,
and that just
solution
makes me
for that.
sad. And I'm done with the politics. I'm done with the fighting. I'm done with the hatred. I'm like Erica. I'm just like, I don't care.
You
man.
want
I
community
understand
again.
you're going through what
Yeah.
you're going through, but I'm not. So I can't walk in your shoes, but you're not going through what I'm going through. So why are you right and I'm an asshole, but you're not an asshole because you don't believe in the things that I'm going through? You know, and now it's like the conversation is shut off. I'm like, I didn't want to talk anymore because you're not understanding where I'm coming from, and I'm trying to be sympathetic to your needs. But unless I just grovel on the floor, we can't have a conversation. Do you see what I'm saying?
I hear you. I think also, I was at a wellness retreat for the past week, so I might
have
just be
wellness
like,
Yeah, you're
retreat
glowing.
energy right now.
And she's glowing.
I'm a little more like,
Erica could be
I can't
represented
help
by a
you. It's
parrot
above
with
me
a
now.
margarita in front of her. Yeah.
Ask, like, don't come for me, come for God, because I can't help you. You know,
My wife has norovirus, so I was in a different retreat this weekend.
Oh, which we talked about last
Who had
podcast.
coronavirus? Wait, who had it?
Jordan. She
And
just
you
had
didn't get it?
No, I'm like, speaking of silos, I took all the kids and I just made I had a blow up mattress. We made like a little fort yesterday.
You
And,
you might be carrying it right now, buddy.
I don't think he'd be sitting here. The norovirus is no joke.
no, Jordan's silo is full.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So now she's using the basement.
It is
silo.
Yeah.
everywhere.
But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
Yeah, we just were on two different.
I'm glad you're
paths.
sitting next to Jeff and
We're
not
in
me.
two
oh
silos.
my gosh. No, I think here's the thing, and this is the best way that I think about things, because I've had to say this 3 times recently, and it's like, I love you, or I have a lot of respect for you. However, I go to therapy because there are things that I need to work out within myself, about myself, around myself. I can't go to therapy because you're dropping your BS at my door, and now I'm spending 45 out of 60 minutes talking about your crap that you're untherapized for. If I can have those conversations with people who I love and respect, then I can certainly have it with Joe Schmo. Only I'm not going to have it with Joe Schmo. I'm just going to think that that's what I'm having the conversation with Joe Schmo to say. I am not going to go to therapy for both of us. I'm not going to allow you to put your BS at my door and make it seem like my problem, your problem's my problem.
Yeah, screw
That's
Joe
a
Schmo.
you problem. It is a very much a you problem. Don't bring your you problems over here to me.
But what if those
I
are the
don't
only
need
problems I
those
have?
What
is
if
me
Joe
problems.
Schmo needs you? No, I'm kidding.
No, I
I'm
got
kidding.
my
I'm
own
kidding.
problems. You keep that ish to
Yep.
yourself,
Yep.
Joe Schmo.
But didn't you say? Don't you
Who's
say if
Joe
you're in
Schmo?
pain,
I thought
tell
it was
somebody?
Joe Schmo.
Schmo.
Okay.
Schmo Mo.
Well, I
No
Mo.
Mo's Joe Schmo.
we've talked about it off and on this podcast, but we know that I live a very different life than you guys. I'm not on social media that much.
Yeah, you really aren't. I'm proud of you for that.
And Jeff, earlier I said
haven't
I have
been
a
in a little
solution
while.
for
Neither
you.
have I.
Do you? Well, I think that you can be on social media in your everyday life, and this is what I mean by that. You can silo yourself off. And I realized that I was doing that by self-checkout, by ordering food in. Instead of, you know what I did the other day at Safeway? I went in the line with the human. And he was talking to a young lady that he had definitely, they were talking about
With
their
the
signs.
human, that's crazy that you say
Yeah.
it like that. That's
And
crazy.
then I started talking to the three of them about their conversation, and I remember just feeling how it felt so natural to just talk to people. No one was talking about politics. She was just like, "Oh, did you celebrate Christmas?" And he was like, "I was by myself, but I had football." And just listening to people talk. And I
You
just
haven't heard a conversation lately?
Not
I know, that's
really,
really sad,
Not
Al.
really, Eric.
Like, what in the
Erica,
world?
When would you ever have a reason to hear an organic conversation? I'm not saying you don't talk to people, but if you had
Well,
an
I spent
appointment,
10 days in Canada and everybody talks to you there.
see, but that's
But I think people
that.
do talk. I think they do.
Yeah,
I
everybody talks.
do. I'm always
I'm
talking
asking,
to people.
do you? I believe you.
I'm not as social as Jeff is. I'm actually, people think I'm an extrovert. I'm really an introvert. But when I'm out and about, like at the supermarket and I'm in line, of course I'll talk to the person. I want to say hi. I want to get to know the person that makes my coffee. I want to get to know the person that's behind me in line sometimes if I look in their basket and we both get the same stuff.
Why are you looking in somebody's basket?
I never
Wait, let
use
me
the
ask, do you judge
self-checkout.
people when they're buying
No,
stuff?
no.
I kind of do.
I
Like when I'm
totally
like,
do.
you're just
I
getting
hope not,
carrots
because-
and Twinkies. That's all you got.
Really?
I'm
So
always
then
like,
you
what are
don't
you
want to see
doing?
my basket because it's always random things. Like I ran into one of Sophie's friends' dads and I was carrying the Ultra Plus tampons. They're like the giant tampons. I'm in perimenopause. You bleed a lot. Ask Jordan. It's fine.
Was this the conversation you had with them?
No.
Young, isn't she?
No, but her and I, she is using that excuse, isn't she, right now? That she's in peri? She told me
She's got other
She's
problems
younger
right
than
now.
us.
But I had my
I don't
ul-
think she's going through. Listen, I don't know.
Well,
Isn't she in her
listen.
30s? Oh, I'm sorry.
I had my Ultra tampons and I dropped them in front of Dusty.
Not
and then,
Dusty.
And then,
Who's
oh, I
Dusty?
said the name.
You just said Dusty like he's
Dusty
Sting
knows.
or something like
Dusty
that.
Dusty,
Baker?
okay, now that I said the name, he's a really nice guy, and he's one of my daughter's elementary school's parents, and I dropped the Ultra tampons in front of him, and we locked eyes. I picked them up.
That's the way a rom-com starts.
We didn't say anything.
And then it ends like, what's up with these fat tampons?
Yeah.
We didn't address it.
I thought there was a moment.
We didn't say hi.
Okay, but Dusty's a dad. And so I assume that he had
These are Ultra.
intercourse with
I think his
a
wife
woman
probably has
who-
the,
Erica,
the
can you
regular
talk about it
size.
like a scientist
Well,
intercourse
I'm
with a
just
woman?
saying, it's like, I mean, Dusty's probably gone to get Super Plus tampons for his wife,
I don't
girlfriend, or whoever.
know. Not Ultras.
I'm sure
I
that's
thought
happened.
Ultras were the
at
thin
some
ones.
point.
No, Ultras are like gigantic.
Well, what are the maxis
Child.
then?
Maxis are the what you put on your underpants.
Those are the ones that wrap
The
around.
pads. Yeah.
At this point, I would have picked them up and been like, "Did your wife use these? Because
Oh,
I do
Erica.
find that these seem to be more comfortable than the other brand."
Oh,
Would-
no.
just
Just
But
make
see,
it a
that's fun to
conversation.
talk. Like, that's a funny conversation. Like, I like those moments. I know it's like embarrassing.
I know, but
that's how you
we
kinda
should
have
have
a
said hi and
conversation.
laughed. We didn't.
See, but
That's what's weird.
Well, you were
I
making
know.
it weird. You
I
should've
know,
been
and I
like,
don't know why
"Get your
I
wife
did."
these, and then you start talking.
I don't know
It's
why.
deep-seated because we were taught that we had to hide those.
You're right,
things,
Erica.
Like growing up, so it's like,
Yep.
you start to think in your head like, oh, this is improper. When you're like, really should be like,
Yeah, it's
this is just what's happening.
it's biology. And that's why I'm
whatever.
so like overly when I'm on my period with Sophie, like, oh, I'm on my period. I try and make it so normalized because I don't want her to feel like the shame
Yeah.
surrounding it.
What do you ride your tampon like a magic carpet?
Yeah. Like, what do you mean?
Jump on,
normalize it?
Sophie.
Do you want
I
me to
got
be
the
very
ultras.
honest?
Yes,
You
please.
want me to be super honest right now?
Absolutely.
Well, like for one, when she follows me in the bathroom, I won't say anything because I don't want to make it like too big of a deal. So I'll just do my thing. And she'll be like, "What are you doing?" I'll be like, "Oh, mommy's on her period. It means mommy's healthy. You'll have your period one day." And then if something happens, like an accident happens, which happened recently at someone's
With you
house.
or with her?
With me,
Okay.
then I address it. Like it's
What do you
no
mean
big
an
deal.
accident?
You go on
You
there.
can figure it out.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, I thought you meant. Okay,
No.
I got
okay,
it.
so I
thought
just
you meant
I'm just
I do have to ask this question.
I thought you
do have
meant-
since we're like
in the moment. I'm
No,
like,
no,
what
no.
else happens?
No.
Can I just say,
Since
Peter
we're
walked
so-
up,
Like the thing
Peter
from
walked
Alien?
up here and
Yeah.
it just said Carrie Underwood on his laptop.
Yeah.
And he looked like a dad that was coming up with his laptop like, who
Enough.
downloaded this on here? He was
Okay.
so mad. Let's talk about Carrie Underwood.
Wait, I have to ask this question.
yes.
I want to know.
okay.
Before you started your cycle,
Yeah.
did you ever pretend that you had started your cycle?
Oh
by
yeah,
walking
because I
around
was
with your-
late. Yeah. I started my
What?
period at like
So
14
you
and a
would
half.
Start like because
Oh,
all
you
your
mean like
friends
right when you
In junior high.
gotcha.
would
Yeah, or middle
have
school.
started their
Yep.
cycle, and then you didn't start it,
Politics
so
and
you
periods,
Just
I'm
wanted
out.
to like pretend to be like your friends. So you're
So
like,
what would
oh
you
my
do?
gosh.
What would you do?
So you would like pull out a tampon out of
Mm-hmm.
your purse or something. You have no use for it,
Yep.
Right.
or like a pad or something, just so you fit in with the other
Yep.
girls.
I never had a fake tampon, but I would say, or a tampon that I would never use. I would just be like, oh, I'm on my period.
That is
And I
something I
wasn't.
never.
I never knew that
I
either.
wonder if I think the male equivalent is I had condoms in my wallet well before I needed
Ew.
them. I
Like
didn't,
at what age?
probably like 16.
Oh my
But like it
gosh.
was a ways off. But I was just like, fellas, you never know. I knew. There was
Did you do
nothing
that too,
happening.
Jeff?
I never.
No, I never had a wallet
You
at 16.
You have a wallet.
Wait, did you have a rubber band?
I think I did. Have a
Oh
rubber
man,
band,
that
yeah.
rubber band game.
Yeah.
I probably retired my rubber band probably 5 years
The
ago.
best rubber band is the broccoli rubber band.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
best.
we talked
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah, we did. That's the
yeah,
best.
thick.
That's the
Yeah.
baller one. And I will say, I got paid once. I won't say what state, but I was working in a state and in a city that is well known to be run by the Mafia. And the place, the comedy club I performed
What do you think you're gonna
in
get whacked by?
Sam?
You're gonna end up 6 feet under.
And swimming with the fishes. The place was below a strip club, and I didn't know, I didn't care, but I got there, and I just remember they kept saying like, "Yeah, your Thursday and your Sunday shows already canceled because we haven't sold any tickets." I was like, "You guys don't seem that concerned about that." They were just like, "Oh," I was like, "What?" Usually there's panic, like you got to do more radio. And then Saturday they were like, "We're just gonna do one show," and then they were like, "You just have to do a half an hour." I was like, "Oh, this is a money laundering scheme."
Oh my gosh.
I was like, they don't care who. There could have been
No.
a washer dryer set on stage. They wouldn't have cared. They paid me with those thick. They paid me in fives, $1,000 with the broccoli rubber bands, and I'll never forget that.
Wow.
And then sent me. You had to leave through the exit of the same ones, the strip club, if you want to go up and drop your check up there. But I was just like, wow, you
That's
guys, you guys are really
crazy.
not even slightly trying to
gangster.
hide.
I know.
But let's
Wait, you need to clear. Somebody just wrote rubber band, Jeff. Doesn't that cut off the circulation?
You think I wrapped that around my?
That's what someone wrote.
Wait, hold on. Whoever wrote that,
It's up.
I have
You
a.
got it.
This
It's
is gonna
up.
be. This is gonna be really dirty. Did you think?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
They
you-
did.
But here's what I'm trying. Okay, this is gonna be really gross. I'm gonna try to clean it up. But I know what. I've never heard of that. Whoever wrote that, a rubber band on my junk. But did you think the Beans and Franks were in the rubber band, or just the Frank? Because that's I want to know where their mind is coming
It's the
from.
beans and franks, because that's the premise behind blank ring, right?
Oh
Isn't
my
that what a
gosh.
blank ring is?
Oh my
Look
gosh.
at Sam's face.
Let
Sam,
me just,
what?
let me just
Erica-
clarify
A blank
for anybody
ring
who
is
was
for
confused.
What's a blank
Joy.
ring?
Yeah.
No, it's to keep the blood in there, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
How do
Okay.
you think it is
Okay.
attained?
Okay,
Hold on, hold
okay.
on.
Okay.
Erica,
What's a
get
All
her
right,
blank
in.
ring?
let me
A cock
just.
ring.
Come on.
Can we
You
say
put
cock
the
ring?
What?
Don't say that. That's
You could
like
have
the
said
worst.
rooster.
Wait, but you put it under
Yes.
under the Franks too?
Yes.
Oh, my
You got to keep it
Lanta.
all. It's like if you want to keep all the water in one part of the
That
water
can't be
balloon, you got
fun.
I mean, look.
Just for clarity, the actual rubber band we were referring to
please,
is
Erica.
when you have your cash.
Yes.
Because back in the early 2000s, the 90s, before everything was credit, then you would have these clubs and you would have all cash coming out. So you would have your wad or stack of cash. You fold the cash and then you put the rubber band over the cash as opposed to having a wallet.
And
Right, you
cash
keep
is
your-
not
That's
a euphemism.
what we
No, you
were
keep your ID or
referring
credit
to.
card, and then you put the
Yes.
cash and the rubber band
Yes.
around that.
Okay.
That's
not
how I did it.
Jeff's.
Not around my
Stuff.
beans and franks. I didn't even
Ew.
know about
But
that. It was a
that's how
thing.
you use it. If you do need to get your Baines and Frank some extra,
What?
yes.
I got a
that's what
hankering for some
C-ring is
beef
for.
and broccoli.
They're
Okay.
not as tight as a.
So much education today,
As
Megan
a
Alexander.
rubber
I
band.
know.
says.
I like these
I guess
conversations.
You would know.
I don't
It's the
use
drug
them.
money rolls.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what it looks
Those
like.
are.
All right. Well,
Okay.
let's get to.
Dude, we got 6
person-
minutes
That's
left.
it.
Well-
We're gonna do the rest.
Yes. Well, we're gonna.
Oh, can I say what I did?
So we'll save everything
this-
for the Friday show. Yes, please tell us.
I would just like to tell specifically Sam that I spent
That sounds like her
last
sitcom,
week-
specifically Sam.
Specifically Sam. I spent last week 95% vegan.
How do you feel?
I felt great. Although my body did not recognize what was happening.
What happened?
Well, if you generally, like, I'm a meat forward person.
Yeah, you are,
But the funny thing was, it took me 2 days to realize that I hadn't had any meat. I kept going to this. So at the resort,
Does meat include fish or no?
so there was fish. Like if you went to the sushi restaurant, you could get fish. So basically, this resort in Mexico, and shout out to my
I
girlfriend.
checked it out. It looks amazing.
It's so amazing.
Oh, Erica sent me a
Vasilia
link.
and Sharif, they got married in a cave, y'all. In a
What?
cave.
No, they did
like,
not.
you are. Yeah, Peter was there. He was, because we brought the team to do production.
Yep.
So it was the most crazy thing. But this particular resort, it's a wellness resort in Playa del Carmen. And what you do is, generally, if you go to a restaurant, you walk in and say, hey, do you have a vegan option or a vegetarian option? At this resort, you would say, do you have a meat option?
That's the
So
exact opposite.
They
Yep.
serve everything vegan, and then some things you can substitute for meat. But at certain point, it took me 2 or 3 days, there was this taco truck, and I thought the only meat option was chorizo because I thought I was eating chorizo.
It was vegan chorizo.
And then the 3rd day I was like, I go, well, the only meat option here is chorizo. And the guy Reyes goes, that's no meat. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been bamboozled this entire time. So then I thought I was going to get Anthony because Anthony arrived later in the week. So we were at the taco truck and we order, and he's like, oh, did you order the chorizo? Because that's the only meat. And I'm like, mm-hmm. And so he eats like 4 of the tacos, and they're like little guys. And he goes, was there any meat in there? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, that wasn't meat. And I'm like, how did you know? He's like, because I eat meat every day.
How did you not know?
Because it tasted like
That
meat.
good? Good for you, Erica.
Like, there were so many things that were really good.
I gotta
had
go
vegan
there.
sushi, which was
Really?
amazing. Like the nigiri and with the mushroom and stuff. So
What is vegan sushi?
That's not real.
So they create they do sushi, but it's with vegetables and
So you had vegetables and rice.
But no, you cannot. I'm telling you,
She's
they
right.
put
There,
this-
you can be so creative with vegan food. You're right.
It would blow your mind.
you
It would
can't.
blow your
Yes,
mind.
you
Because you call it
can.
So
sushi
I
doesn't mean it's
was,
sushi.
She
no,
just
I was very, very.
I gotta go to
impressed.
this place. What's it called again?
It's called Palmaya.
Palmaya.
Called liars.
Now you can't catch a buzz there to save your life.
There's no
Let me just-
alcohol?
So all of the drinks are like crafted, like they're very curated, beautiful cocktails, but they're mocktails, and you can add alcohol. So you have to ask for the alcohol. And I one night was like, I'm gonna try to catch a buzz. So I kept asking for the alcohol,
And you
I was
couldn't
like,
taste
I
it?
think the alcohol is not there.
Oh,
Like, it was not.
They
I was
were
like day 4. I'm like,
bamboozling
I think I
you.
need some alcohol.
Was this like a
It's
resort?
a
that-
wellness retreat. I'm already getting aggravated at this place.
It was so great.
I gotta go, and
Like,
I
is
want to
this
go
sushi?
to
Can I get some meat? Can I get some alcohol? Like,
I
Stop
want to go to
making
the
me fake
cave.
sushi. Can I get real sushi?
You would honestly,
I don't know,
Jeff,
I'm not-
like
you would be
I think
fine.
you would
You'd
be
be
hard
fine.
pressed to even know
Yeah.
in some of the situations. Like, but you could get
I
like,
think I know the difference between a cucumber and tuna.
well, no. I don't know, but I'm just saying, I didn't think that I would be able to go almost a week without meat,
And you did.
and I did.
Good for you,
And
Lee.
it was really amazing. Now, if I had a professional chef come to my house every day,
It'd be different.
yes, but yeah, I just had to say that.
Just
love
make
it.
you some
And she is
vegetables and call it
glowing.
whatever they want.
No,
This is steak
No.
tonight.
stop. No, no.
You want some
It's
lamb
linguine
chops?
with clams. It's a shredded
Oh my
carrot.
gosh.
Oh, wow. Well, we have run the gamut. We found that Erica found the only resort that you have to ask for the fun.
Exactly. There you
Really
go.
what it is. Can you
Exactly.
make this taste good?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
No, it tasted so good.
I believe you, Erica. And I'm going to go to this place. so.
Yes, yes.
No,
Let
you're
me know.
not.
I'll
Yes,
go
I
with you.
am.
What's the name
Yes,
of Sam,
I would go
Sam,
back.
what's the name of it?
Palmaya,
All right, I didn't think
right?
she'd get that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
And
would
I
definitely
looked it
go
up when
back.
she sent me the link, and I was like, I need to go to this
Because the
place.
whole time I was like, Sam would
This is me.
love
Yep. Is
this
there yoga
place.
classes?
Every day.
That's all I
Breath
need.
work.
That's all I need.
Like,
Kundalini?
No Kundalini.
Okay.
Are you
but,
reading
like,
off the brochure?
sound
Can we do this after the
bowls.
Sound
show?
bowls?
Yes,
Ugh.
the like gongs.
Okay, we're
all
getting
of
a
that.
wrap.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's amazing. It's
Thank
amazing.
you. We need a sound bowl to end this show. Just like somebody else stealing our money by taking a whisk and going around a bowl.
You are
I do-
so
I do like a good
terrible.
sound
He needs
bowl.
to go to
doesn't
Palmaya.
They are so awesome.
need to
Yeah,
go to
you
Palmaya.
went
Yeah.
to sleep.
My
It's
friend Debbie
fine.
does them. They're
Put on
really
an
great.
Enya album, it'll do the same thing.
No, it doesn't.
Shout out. My dad used to listen to Enya.
Yeah,
Enya's
it was
the
good, dude.
best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's up.
Sail away,
So on behalf
sail
of
away,
Enya-
sail away. That's Enya.
Yeah, so now we're gonna get copyright issues because of that.
No, because I didn't sound anything like the
I
song,
think- I
so
think
you're
we're-
okay.
I think we're okay because of that.
Yeah.
So for Jeff Schroeder, Erica Cobb, Sam Shocker, and Enya, I've been Al Jackson. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Check us out on Friday. Peace, Night Owls.